I can't remember my life where I wasn't singing.
For me, piano was such a source of love, of joy, of stress release, of magic.
Something innate in me. I've always been making things my whole life.
I was always artistic. My family is artistic.
So I started taking lessons when I was 5 years old. And my parents actually, when I was very young, as soon as I could start reading, would put notes on my piano what time I could not play, like not before 5 a.m. and not after 7 p.m. so that they would have peace in the house. Like Debbie wasn't always playing the piano.
When I was little, I used to make clothes for my teddy bears with scissors and make little tabs and tie them together before I could use a sewing machine. And then when I was able to use a needle and thread, I used needle and thread.
To me, it's always just been an outpouring of joy. But as I grew as an artist, as I tried to become a professional artist, I found that there wasn't a lot of room for me.
It was really hard in the opera seasons when all the shows would be for men. There were all these men roles. This year, a men's chorus. One show that has women. One show. And yeah, in the traditional canon, that's what you get.
I think one of the most common things I hear is, oh, you're a soprano, you're a dime a dozen. But as a younger soprano, I had a hard time feeling like, even when I was chosen for things, that I belonged there. Because I knew that there was always somebody coming for my neck, essentially. It can be tough, it can be overwhelming, it can sometimes feel like you're the needle in the haystack trying to get out.
Income is probably number one. Living like at the poverty line. Consistency in work and performing or producing. And then I think the third thing that seems to be challenging is safe practices or safe spaces to practice, and actually having that community of artists to have that safe space. I think those are the top three challenges.
I think that it can be really difficult that people, when you're a brave woman or a forward woman or an interesting woman, that people sometimes want to squash that. It's not comfortable. Just to be able to sing your heart's song and to do it unapologetically, it's something that we sometimes consider a really rare privilege.
It's hard to connect with other women that way because female singers are often really competitive because we're set against each other. There's only so many roles, there's only so many parts, there's only so many slots in the choir that you can fill. And sometimes it's a matter of who you know.
My story includes just stopping singing for a while because I couldn't find a place to do it. And it led to a lot of depression. It led to substance abuse and an eating disorder. It led to some very dark places. It's interesting because it wasn't until I started valuing myself as a human being and as a singer that I started getting work. And I realized that a lot of women are in my old shoes, competing against one another, fighting for their spot, operating from scarcity, because to be real, it is scarce. The thing is, with my background, what I realized is I needed help to learn how to value myself. I couldn't just change that channel myself. I needed other people to say, you know what? You really have something and you are worth it, until I could start believing it myself. And I realized that so many of us, if we don't know how to value ourselves, we need someone else to help us know that. And that's what I want for Nevertheless, is to create this environment where, you know, we're not going to have to worry about sexual abuse. We're not going to have to worry about discrimination. We're not going to have to worry about being fired because we won't play a certain way. And within that construct, then you get to really be creative.
Having a community of people to turn to say, no, your art, how it is now, is valid, and it is worthy, and it is worth something. Just felt really important to me. It felt like something that is very needed. Definitely, you know, in Louisville, but beyond the scope of Louisville. It's just something that is needed, period.
Nevertheless is committed to creating a safe space for all women identifying artists. And I think that my contribution to the solution is making sure that we use theatrical practices and methods to curate that safe space and be able to get our creative juices flowing together.
We honor women composers, women fashion artists, women spoken artists, dancers, vocal artists. We want the whole experience, and not only the performance experience and the expanding the canon to get more works out there, but also to be able to give voice, give a platform, not for the creative side, but for the soul.
I don't think it's generational. I don't think that it's a specific age group that needs that support. I think it's all ages, all instruments, all forms of creativity. I think it's very important for us to be a force of good and supporting those around us specific to that.
So why did we name our organization Nevertheless Arts Ensemble? Well, it's because among women artists, we all share stories of rejection, lack of opportunity or scarcity, emotional abuse, sexism, assault, racism, overwork, underpayment, all of this in the name of artistry. It's also common as to be considered normal. In the face of all that, how can women artists possibly be creative, keep a sense of self, and add their voice into the artistic fabric of our culture? Yet somehow we do. Nevertheless, women artists keep showing up. We create because to us, being an artist is as vital as breathing. And for our ensemble, we want to make that safer and easier.
Go to neverthelessarts.com, click on the donate button in the upper right-hand corner, and invest in our vision, invest in our mission, invest in women artists.
Nevertheless, I sing.
Nevertheless, I play.
Nevertheless, I sing.
Nevertheless, I make.
Nevertheless, I will always be an artist.
Nevertheless, we create.
Nevertheless, we create.
Nevertheless, we create.
Nevertheless, we create.
Nevertheless,